So Alex, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to say hello to our audience?
Yeah, well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here and to meet the celebrity Charlie Min himself in the flesh. I've seen so many of your review videos, and you and I have connected online and now in person. Yeah. And you know, it's just great to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw your Ioniq 5 review. I really enjoyed it. And
yeah, I just want to say to all your viewers, like, my Ioniq 5 review was a car review for a non-car review platform. So, so you know, it was fun and it was good, but I definitely think that the level of detail that you go into is commendable. And what's great about all your reviews is I think you give people an excellent sense of, should I buy this car, if you're thinking of buying one. And that's probably when most of us go on and check them out, isn't it?
Thank you. Today we have a Renault Samsung XM3, so let's go have some fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So Alex, since you're from England, I just have one question about the Renault brand, because you know Renault Samsung makes cars with Renault, right? So how big is it in Europe?
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you make, by the way, because when I first came to Korea and I heard about Samsung cars, it confused me. and even the model names are quite confusing.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, we're driving now this Renault Arkana, which you know, is a completely different type of branding than XM3. But all that aside, I'd say that in Europe, and certainly when I was growing up in the UK, the Renault brand was, you know, very much like a household family type car, and something that definitely in the case of something like the Renault Clio, younger people would want to have as a first or second car. Perhaps they'd see that and they'd be aware that they'd be used for things like the Renault Clio Cup. You got the motorsport background, and maybe people would like to enhance their Clio models, for example. And then going up into bigger family-sized models, like in my family, we had a Renault Espace once upon a time, and that was like a big Kia Carnival type thing. But I would say that Renault's an interesting one. You've got a Hyundai, Volkswagen type reputation, but on the other hand, you've also got Renault's presence in Formula One.
Racing heritage too.
Yeah, but there's a big gap between the performance of most of their road cars and what you would expect out of their racing cars. So unlike Ferrari, say, which has both the high performance F1 and road reputation, Renault has this something more comparable to, say, to Toyota or Honda in that regard. Although, but it's a very versatile lineup, right? So you've got big family cars, and you've got stuff like this, which is somewhere in the middle.
And Clio too, right?
And the Clio has a special place in my heart. I mean, it's still very, very popular. It's just doing so well still today. And I think for that kind of longevity, if you think about decades and decades for any car model to stay at the top of its game that long, they've got to have something fairly special going for them. So I'm curious about the car, though, actually. Is this the same as the Renault Arkana, what we're in now, aside from the rebadging?
It's a little bit different, because this Renault Samsung XM3 is actually built upon new CMF-B platform. And it's also, I'm proud to say, but it's assembled here in Korea, actually from Busan, second largest city here in Korea, and exported globally. So you can say it's a little bit different, quite different car.
Right, with the Samsung badge, it's not just a case of rebranding then, which I find that really interesting, that you would have those regional differences. But then again, when you consider, for example, something like the Kia Seltos, the Kia Seltos that does well in Korea can be a different Kia Seltos to the one that does well in India, right? And they have slightly different trims and options available for different markets.
I heard Renault Samsung added more features for Koreans' taste.
Yeah, it looks to me like they're trying to make sure that this will stand up next to the Hyundai equivalents, right?
Right. So back to Renault XM3. What do you think about the exterior design? I mean, we even have a coupe-like silhouette at the rear from the side. How do you like the exterior design?
Well, you know, it's one of those things, when you look at a photograph, you can kind of style it in a way that you could make a comparison with all those stylish German cars with their sloping coupe roofs, like, for example, everything from the Porsche Cayenne to the Audi Q3, the BMW X4, for example. I mean, you don't, when you don't have that scale comparison, you can easily build that case. But I'd say that in person, I like it. It's nothing negative to say, but maybe not overwhelmingly positive either. In the sense that when you're standing face to face, the size does not feel like an SUV from the outside. It feels like more like an elevated Renault Megane, what I would say, like a Renault sedan that's been lifted up a little bit with the sloping roof. Add some style, and it definitely feels like you're getting stylish components at a budget, but it feels like a slight misrepresentation to describe SUV. Maybe compact SUV is already hinting at something a bit less than a larger Santa Fe to compare with a Hyundai type, but that's my view first off.
Okay. I mean, but I think it's definitely the coupe-looking silhouette is giving the nice touch to it, and it looks pretty nice from the front too. So
It does look nice.
Definitely Renault face. Yeah.
It's got the Renault face. I mean, you know, except you don't have the Renault badge, which is so distinctive when you're making the direct comparison with a Renault. But yeah, it does look good. It doesn't, though, have the because the sloping roof, as I said before, you could start to think, wow, I've got something that looks like the BMW X4, for example. I don't think you're going to mistake it for an X4 from a distance. But on the other hand, for what it is,
at this price point, right?
Yeah, I mean, making a comparison with, say, the Hyundai Kona, and actually a very good, affordable price, the budget's pretty impressive for this, even at the higher level trims. I'm impressed by that side of it. And it's got nice big wheels. We were talking before, Charlie,
You're not a big fan.
Well, I like the size of the wheels, but the wheel design is that flower petal shape. To me,
not a big fan, right?
It doesn't sing to my motor heart. Maybe some people like that, not me. I don't hate them though. It's not a deal breaker for me. It's just not something I particularly love.
Okay.
So Charlie, I was making all those comparisons before with various models.
Yes.
Actually, where does this sit in the market, do you think?
This will compete against rivals such as Hyundai Kona and Kia Seltos. But price-wise, Renault Samsung XM3 is actually lower than them.
That's really interesting, because the market is flooded with SUVs. Here in Korea, even among the names you just mentioned, Hyundai and Kia, you have so many SUVs that each incremental step up, you have to ask yourself, like, is it worth it? Do I need this extra space? I can see why a lot of people would find this to be their sweet spot. Right. And I'm kind of surprised to hear the Seltos Kona comparison, because I thought maybe it would be somewhere closer to the Tucson.
Yes, it's a little bit less, but wheelbase-wise, it's a lot closer to Hyundai Tucson. So, but Hyundai Tucson and Sportage is a lot more expensive than this. So, like you said, I think Renault Samsung wanted to find a spot somewhere between Kona and Tucson.
Yeah, I would actually say, thinking about it, that it is pretty much between the Kona and the Tucson in terms of how it looks from the outside and how it feels on the inside. Because once you enter that Tucson Sportage territory, you've got something that's unmistakably SUV from all angles. Yeah. Whereas you drop down to the Kona and it's like, is this an SUV or is it a large hatchback? So. And here we are between those. Right,
so it's compared to Hyundai Kona, this absolutely looks larger and feels a little bit more spacious inside, but not as big as Hyundai Tucson. So if you don't want large SUV, then this should be quite suitable for you, I would say. So Alex, what do you think about the interior?
Overall positive, and if we're going to start with the positives, I would say the seats feel actually quite premium and comfortable, and the material's nice. So that's a nice plus. I can feel it very well because my hair is cropped very short. So no complaints there. Interior cabin size, it's not vast, but it's more than enough. We're two 6 foot plus guys sitting next to each other, and I don't feel cramped at all. In the back seat, well, that wouldn't be so great for headroom for me personally, and I guess for you too, but my kids sit in the back most of the time anyway, so I don't think that would necessarily be a deal breaker either. It's just maybe not ideal. I would personally be happy to compromise on the sloping roof for more space in the back. That's just my view. I don't think everyone would feel that way.
Yeah.
And you've got lots of space in the rear, like with the trunk or the boot, as I would call it in my British English. And in terms of other materials, a lot of plastic around us, but it's solid. Everything from the steering wheel itself to the dash and
nice
the trim.
finish.
They varied it. It's not all the same plastic, but it's solid, higher end plastic, if that makes sense. And with the infotainment options here, it's what you kind of expect in most modern cars, but having
10 orange
on the dash is nice. It looks elegant, good design. And then the centerpiece is vertically placed, which is very different to most cars, full stop.
Right.
And that's something that stands Renault apart in my driving experience.
It's actually better to see the navigation screens.
Right. I mean, so the thing about me is that when I'm buying a new car and I'm looking at the infotainment, I'm imagining watching Netflix on it, right? I never watch Netflix on the
Right.
What I really need it for is things like navigation.
Right.
So that's the primary consideration. The number of inches is kind of irrelevant. Can I see clearly what I need to see? Is it easy to use and switch between music and podcasts and going back to navigation again?
Yeah.
And this ticks all the bright boxes.
Okay. And it also comes with many features because it also comes with auto start.
I'm pleased to say that's not the police chasing us, that's just roadworks.
Yes. And we also comes with the auto start and stop, auto hold, adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist, and stop and go functionality. So
and that's becoming pretty ubiquitous now, but it's not something that we should take for granted quite yet either. It can be really nice, especially with the motorway driving, to have the lane keep assist.
Right.
I personally like it as well when you're sitting in traffic, when the car lets you know when the person in front of you is gone.
Right.
Especially when you're perhaps making sure that the young passengers in the back are behaving themselves.
Right.
You need to know when it's time to go again. To have those smart features is great.
Right. So tell me about the powertrain. We have the 1.3 liter turbo GDI engine. Made it to 7-speed DCT. How do you like it, Alex?
Yeah, well, it's impressive for what it is. My expectations were not that I was stepping into a Porsche Cayenne, even though you got the sloping roof. So I feel like I haven't been let down by it at all. There's been no point of driving this, and we've got out of Seoul, so we've had the chance to pick up speed and stop and accelerate, and there's been no point where I felt like, oh, this is sluggish. So that's a great sign.
Yeah.
I think often for this type of car, you're not going to get in there and think, wow, this is quick, but you don't want the opposite feeling of feeling, oh, this is sluggish. Right?
I mean, me too. I mean, I knew this was 1.3 liter turbo, so when I was getting in, I was like, but when you just put down, it's quite responsive. And
I mean, frankly, I'm just testing the brakes a little bit here in the corner, and just to handle through a slightly tighter bend, even when I'm doing the no-no of braking into the corner, it felt perfectly safe and stable, and the suspension as well. I read in some reviews that it rolled a bit, but I'm not feeling that at all.
Right.
Honestly, for urban driving, I don't think any of these things are going to be an issue ever, especially in a city like Seoul. If you're able to get in an area where you're on the tight and twisties, you're going to be quite satisfied, I think.
We'll definitely check that out soon.
Yeah, looking forward to doing that.
And how about the 7-speed dual clutch transmissions?
Yeah, it's smooth. I'm again, it's one of those things where it's only really a problem when you notice a problem.
Right,
It's not something that you're going to be like, oh, I love this transmission. But when you're driving an automatic and it's not doing what you want it to do, it can be a very frustrating experience.
Right. But this one, I think it has improved much, and it just feels like a regular automatic most of the time.
It absolutely does, yeah. I mean, I have changed completely as a driver. When I started in the UK, I was actually racing cars, but I also was driving exclusively manual transmission. And when I first came to Korea 10 years ago, my first car here was also manual transmission. It was very hard to sell in Korea. No one wants to buy manual transmission.
Yeah.
A few performance enthusiasts, maybe on the N lines or the actual N range for Hyundai, might enjoy manual. But yeah, for the most part, I've gotten totally used to automatic, and there's nothing that stands out as being negative for me on this.
So Alex, we actually checked the 0-60 times this morning before you came. Can you guess how fast this Renault Samsung XM3 was from your driving?
I'm guessing somewhere around the 8-second mark.
Really? Are you sure?
That's what it feels like.
Okay, let's check the video now. So it actually took 8.2 seconds to hit 60 miles per hour.
0.2 off.
0.2 off.
I didn't realize I could add a 0.2 on
You're
there.
very good. So
I might have said 8.1.
So okay, let me go get you a sandwich.
Okay, thank you. I'm feeling peckish.
Yeah, okay. You had no lunch, so let's go.
So we've had the chance already to feel some of this acceleration. Now me as a passenger, and I've been even perhaps more impressed as a passenger. And you always feel it a bit differently, right, when you're not driving. How do you find the performance?
Well, we can also get this Renault Samsung XM3 with the 1.6 liter non-turbo, but I'm really liking this 1.3 liter turbocharged GDI engines.
So
well, first,
head back.
First, because it sounds better with the turbo, and because it's pulling linearly all throughout the RPM range. It's no sluggish, and it just pulls nicely all the way.
Yeah, it feels kind of like we're just gripping the road. It's not bad handling at all.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're slightly on the edge, you know? It's coping with that.
And it just gives you the reaction when you ask it to. So I'm quite surprised how this 1.3 liter turbo actually responds.
I'm impressed. I mean, you've taken it to its not quite its limit, but not a million miles off.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It stood up to the challenge.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
You might have seen the whites of my eyes there.
Yeah, this is definitely no sports car, but I think definitely you can have some fun with this car. Yeah. If somebody chasing you?
Yeah. The braking distance isn't too bad.
And handling. This is pre-handling, but it's actually taking very nicely though, right?
You know, one thing about me is, right, I'm never that comfortable with an automatic in that kind of situation. I always feel with a manual transmission like I have so much more control of the cornering. So when I'm with you and you're driving and I can't control, I'm sort of flinching because I'm like, right. Is the automatic transmission able to drive us through this? But
you can, because it's also a paddle shifter, so
but for you as a driver, like, how does it feel? I'm curious to ask you seriously, like, compared with all your other high-speed tests that you've done, does this have average handling, slightly above average, or?
I think I'm going to talk about handling, but I think this handles better than average on the compact SUVs. Maybe because of the sloping roof, I don't know, but I think overall it has a very good suspension setup.
So going a little bit deeper, or a slight sidestep within this performance, you were asking me before about the transmission. I was saying, I think I was giving a good flavour for how everyday driving might go. Now that you're pushing a little harder, you're going through those gear changes with a little more force. How do you think it's standing up?
Just like you said, you know, at first you might need some time to get used to, because this is actually essentially car shifting the manual gears for you. But nowadays it's got so much better. It feels very close to you know, 7-speed automatic, but it's just shifting a lot quicker. So let me just show it to you.
Yeah.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So obviously, you know, this is not like a BMW M5 style, but compared to its competition, I think it's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, frankly, it's one of those things that's nice to know, but to me it reminds me a little bit of the infotainment conversations when people talk about, oh, can it do this, can it do that? On an everyday basis, you're not using these functions.
Right.
When you're sitting in traffic, when you're on your commute, you kind of got to remind yourself what are the most important things that you need to do.
Right.
And this car is ticking the right boxes.
And you know, it also returns the 7-speed DCT. Really returns great fuel economy. We're gonna check that out soon.
Actually, that's what I wanted to ask: the fuel economy, how that ties in, because that's the actual very practical aspect of it.
We're gonna do it after checking the handling.
Okay.
Corners. Okay.
I thought we just did the handling.
All right, guys. We have 3 people in the corner. So hang on, guys. Wow!
This is like the hairpin experience.
You see, it's really not bad. I mean, I'm really surprised that ESC isn't engaging too early, just letting me have some fun.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, that was pretty stable, actually.
It is.
I felt that...
wow.
You didn't feel like you were on rails. Like you had some movement, which it's kind of ironic that you actually want to have that freedom, because if you're getting too many safety features engaging in, you lose trust in what you're actually trying to achieve. Some nice,
like Mercedes EAC will just kill everything, but this one actually is just letting me have some fun. I mean, and I think it's pretty nice for a SUV of this size.
Yeah. I actually forgot we were in an SUV just then.
Yeah, I mean, this probably, safe to say, is better than some of the sedans.
Yeah.
So one more time?
Sure. Yeah, no, let's do it.
Let's do it.
How does it compare with, I mean, you've driven some of the sportier ones, like the Kona, for example, which might be, as we said earlier, kind of closer approximation. How would this compare with the Kona N-Line? Which is, I mean, it'd be unfair to compare with the Kona N, I guess, but the Kona N-Line, in terms of handling around that corner?
Just compared to like a regular Kona, let me just tell you after doing this corner.
Okay.
One more time and I'll let you know. So this one's a little bit shorter. So.
Am I asking a question here, or just...
Just less experience first.
Was this the one that you did before?
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is the faster corner. Whoa!
This guy does not even have like all-wheel drive or anything like that.
No oversteer there.
But it's handling very nicely.
I thought we were going to oversteer through there. Seriously, it felt like we were going to. The back end was going to swing back out.
So to answer your question, I think definitely not up to Kona N standard, but I think this handles better than the Kona.
The regular Kona.
Kona N lines. Seltos. I mean, I think because definitely having lower center of gravity helps. And I don't know, maybe, like I told you, this does not have all-wheel drive system or anything like that, but I think the whole suspension and the platform or chassis just feels lighter and just feels solid at the same time. I don't know. It's just...
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so if you want best handling compact SUV, I think we found one.
I cannot imagine having many opportunities to push it to that limit on my commute and Seoul, but it's nice to know it can do it.
Yeah, so Yeah, that's why we do it in the Paju, near the North Korea.
we are near North Korea.
So yeah, so wow, it's handling nicely, very nicely.
So Charlie, not necessarily factoring in the heavy acceleration in the last few minutes, how good is this in fuel economy terms?
We checked it yesterday and this morning, and this guy, Renault Samsung XM3, actually returned about 33 miles per gallon in the city and 46 miles per gallon on the highway. So,
were you expecting that?
No. I mean, in the city, I think a 7-speed DCT and the 1.3 liter turbo, it matches very nicely.
Yeah,
so,
I totally agree.
I mean, this for a gasoline SUV, I think this is very nice.
Well, again, in this world of electric vehicles, or at least hybrids, they've got to have good economy to still be a gasoline.
Yes, I think so. And they're definitely delivering it, yeah. So Alex, had a great time today. Hope you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I had a little roller coaster ride. I got to test drive a car that I'd never driven before. Nice. I learned a few things about Samsung Renault versus Renault in Europe, and it was really good fun. Thank you, Charlie.
No, welcome. Yeah, if you have extra time later on, please, you're always welcome to be on our show again.
Yeah, love to join you anytime.
All right, so thank you. All right guys, this has been our test drive with the 2021 Renault Samsung XM3. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be back with much more. So if you love cars and car reviews, please do support us by subscribing to our channel, and also hit that bell notification so you don't miss out in the future. Thank you guys, see you soon, stay healthy, and bye bye. Once you go SUVs, you cannot just, you can never go back.
Yeah, you need something to rhyme with back. Once you go SUV, you can't go back, but that doesn't sound like a very good catchphrase, does it? What do you think of the new Kia badge, by the way? Do you much prefer
like it? Yeah.
I find it kind of depends on the model as well, like which car they stick it on.
I think some people like say it looks like KN, no I, but you know, but it's just
they did need to change it. But,
yeah.
But maybe, yeah, I feel like we needed almost like a few more years of getting used to it to be fully used to it.
The funny thing is how I started doing this corner is at first I really couldn't do it because I was scared, bloody scared. So I just did it like one by one, little bits. I tried like once, because I saw like some Korean other journalists doing it. I was like, wow, how the hell do these guys do it? And I tried it once, twice, it made a little noise. I was like so scared. And like 10 times, and like maybe like 15 times I started doing it. I got a little bit confidence. So I know the limit, I know the road. So after that, I just practice a lot.
What about when it's raining or something and you come here?
I can't do it.
You just never do it in the rain.
It just never sounds like this.
Yeah, because so you can't get the right effect.
Yeah,
anyway.
so and it's when it snows, I for safety reasons I just don't do it that hard.
Yeah.
But
do you like it?
Yeah. It's like
you've got to kind of enjoy it to be in this. How long have you guys been working together?
Over a year now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I mean, he's brave one because when you see the video, right? He's standing here like I'm doing corners. He's always there shooting.
He knows, he trusts where you're going to be.
Yeah. So it's but I guess we both get used to what we're doing. So
yeah.